One Piece chapter 1075. This is one of my favorite types of chapters. It's nice, concentrated, short and sweet, straight to the point. And let's get right into it. This is a One Piece chapter that is 100% Straw Hat focused. So we're just following the escapades on Egghead Island. I think that that is super cool. I just really like that when the chapters don't really go to too many places. Like, you know, we could have gone to VV, we could have gone to Sabo, we could have gone to the Revolutionaries, could have gone to Elbaf, could have gone to Saul. So many different things that could have happened. We definitely kept it straight to the point, and I really need to keep throwing that in there. I really like that. Right off the top, we see Germa 66 Cold-Blooded Voyage Volume 31. This has been a long running story arc, and although it keeps, like I mentioned this before, although we keep calling it Germa 66, it really is mostly like it went from being a story about Judge to being like kind of an introduction and backstory into Vegapunk himself. So like I'm kind of confused how Vegapunk meeting the Gorosei is going to come back and help out or tell the story of Judge's cold-blooded excursion, like cold-blooded voyage, sorry. So, yeah, I'm just really curious as to how Oda is going to tie this back together, or if Oda's just kind of using it as an excuse. Like, if it's really going to be a Vegapunk cover story arc, like, I feel like it should be called something for Vegapunk, but it's still Germa 66. So, I'm still hoping that this goes back around and kind of, like, goes into the story of how this relates back to Judge. We do know that this was, like, 20 years in the past, and the Gorosei members seem to look the exact same. So, like, that is a little curious how the Gorosei members still look the same way. So the chapter starts off like the chapter starts off after the explosion by Pythagoras. The only person to have noticed that explosion was Shaka. And then right before Shaka is like looking at the explosion, he sees a shadowy figure. That shadowy figure looks like Garcia Saturn to me. You can kind of see how his face, the face of the shadowy figure, where the eyes are. You can kind of see like the dreadlocks. And so it looks like Garcia Saturn to me. He could have a power that got him to the island quicker. And the only other thing that could come to mind is if it's not Garcia Saturn, then it's just someone who Oda has intentionally made to look like Garcia Saturn. But I would have to say that it would probably be him. How he got there is a mystery to us all, but it seems like that's him. Although I would say it looks like it was PX Boa that did attack Pythagoras, just because of how Pythagoras reacted to seeing Boa. So it could really be anything at this point. But right now, before my top traders would have been Shaka or Lilith, but right now it seems like it's either going to be there is no trader and the person who's been messing with the island is Garcia, or it seems that the Stella body is actually a traitor, or it could be Garcia and the Stella body working together. Maybe the Stella body, I don't know. Maybe one thing that that came to my mind is that because the Stella body and Garcia worked together in the past, Garcia has some type of way of giving himself like a presence on the island, and so like I don't know if it's maybe like a hologram, or if he can maybe like send out a doppelganger of some sort, but he has to be on the island. That's the only thing. Like if he's to give an order to one of the Seraphim, he has to be there. He can't do it over like a Denden Mushi. So the only people with a higher authority, the Stella satellites, the only people with a higher authority would be either Garcia himself, you know, Vegapunk the original. Those are the only people who I could think would have a higher authority to be able to change the orders of what the Seraphim are supposed to be doing. So it is like a little confusing right now. Oda is definitely leaving it up to who could it be, and he's definitely messing with their heads a lot. My first thought would be if they were given an order by Edison to stop attacking, right? No other Stella could give them that order. So that makes me think that none of the Stellas are betraying. Like maybe it's either there are two versions of the Stella Vegapunk, like maybe like another Stella Vegapunk that we don't know about. I honestly think it's either Garcia or somebody we straight up don't know about, because like right now it's too up in the air to have a proper guess, I would say. a lot of this chapter was spent kind of like hyping up certain things, a lot of cool Straw Hat moments. Like I really liked the moment with Nami getting like treasure. I wonder if we're gonna come back to Nami getting those diamonds or whatever, and like what that could really mean. I wonder if someone's gonna run into Bonnie. I feel like one of these people, probably Robin and Chopper's group, is gonna run into Bonnie just because Chopper spent the most time with Bonnie so far. I do feel like Jinbei's group with Stussy and Sanji would run into Seraphim Jinbei. I feel like Sanji has some smoke that he wants to give out there, and Jinbei and his Seraphim would make a interesting dynamic to see how Jinbei reacts to fighting himself. And I do think that I wonder what's going to happen with Frankie, Usopp, and Lilith. That's such a combination I didn't expect to see right now. We do know, like in the last chapter, we had a reference from Water 7, and we do know in Water 7 that's when like Usopp and Frankie had their dynamic. I feel like they got really close in Water 7, and we haven't really seen a dynamic from these two together in a while. So like I'm just excited to see it. I want to see them team up. This is going to be like the heavy artillery team, right? Because, you know, you see Lilith with the gun and Usopp with his weapons and Frankie with the beam. So, like, I wonder what they're going to do. I wonder how far this fight is going to go. And I wonder if Usopp's going to get to touch that bubble gun, because I'm all about Usopp. Usopp's going to need a power-up sometime soon. So I wonder exactly what we could see from that. We do see that York gets taken out pretty quick. I don't know if she's gonna be coming back anytime soon, or how that's gonna happen. We could see. I don't know. Like, that's kind of just left up in the air. I find it funny the way she just kicked her over, but like, yeah, she didn't break her, so York can still come back. But it is interesting that York got like taken out like that. She's not really like a combatant per se, but yeah, I wonder if, like, I guess they got knocked down, but I wonder if the Seraphim Boa is going to come down to, like, attack them. It's interesting to see so far. It seems that Luffy and Zoro are actually going to be fighting the Seraphim. I don't expect them to run. And the cliffhanger ending, which is hilarious, is that we're actually going to get a CP0 Straw Hat team up. And we did see in the past. So it seems that, like, the Seraphim were trying to kill the CP0 members, ignoring the Straw Hat. So whatever orders they got were to get rid of the CP0 members, which makes me think that the person who gave them the order was Garcia, because Garcia would have said, oh, the CP0 failed, they have too much information, get rid of them, make sure to get rid of them, right? So if they're going after them more so than going after the Straw Hats, I would say that, yeah, so I would say that the Garcia would have given them that order, and that's why CP0 would have tried to team up with the Straw Hats. Now, we saw in Wano that CP0 were getting orders that they didn't want to follow as well. So this is like kind of playing off on that. And so this could be a turning point where Lucci says, you know what, I keep working for the government and the government keeps betraying me. So like, I'm done with that. And Lucci's going to try to make his attack towards the government, or in whatever way he can. And I'm here for it. I don't want to see Lucci as a Straw Hat or anything, or like acknowledge Luffy in that way. I'd like to see him as an antagonist, but I don't want him to be on this side. I'd rather him be on like Cross Guild or somewhere over there, or like make a team over there. You know, I don't want him to be cool with Luffy ever. Like, I don't want him to ever. I want him to leave this arc still saying, like, I don't respect you, Luffy, but maybe I acknowledge your power, that you're powerful, but I don't respect you as a Yonko. You don't act like you don't have like that charisma that I respect. You know, like, you don't have that riz. So like, this might come from the past, or I guess coming from the future. But one thing I did want to mention is, in the background, the one behind me is you see like an explosion with like a slash through it. And I think that Oda's kind of like referencing the planet Saturn, because, you know, the Saturn has like that circle with like the ring around it, and it just really looks planetary to me. So maybe that is Oda's hint that this is like Saturn's like arrival. So like, hopefully in the next chapter we'll probably see Jay Garcia Saturn be introduced. I wonder if there is more Seraphim to come, because if we assume that there's one Seraphim for every Warlord, then we do know that there should be at least 3 more. It could be Crocodile, PX Crocodile, could be PX Gecko Moria, or PX Gecko, or PX Flamingo, which would be Doflamingo's Warlord. Yeah, Doflamingo. But I do think that there are other options. You know, they offered the position to Ace, and Ace refused. But I do think that there could be an Ace Seraphim. He was locked up in Impel Down. I do think that there could be a Buggy Seraphim. There could be a Weevil Seraphim, but I kind of doubt that. And yeah, I do think that those are the 3 people who have like the highest chance of being a Seraphim. There could even be a Law Seraphim, to be honest. Looking forward to the next chapter. I'd like to see some the Admiral Kizaru. Maybe he makes it to the island, and then we get to like a bigger reveal of Garcia Saturn's power, how he made it to this island beforehand, something like that. I'd like to see the flashback, and yeah, those are the things that I think I'd want to see most. Please keep it contained to Egghead. We've gotten all the setup we need for after Egghead, so now just keeping it on Egghead, keeping the story focused, and moving forward this way would be the best thing that I think this arc needs right now, because every time we leave this arc, it just adds more questions and makes me wish that, you know, we were in those parts. But I want to just focus on where we're at now. I'd love to see some fights starting. I'd love to, even if, you know, the Straw Hats aren't necessarily winning, I'd like to see the Straw Hats fight in front of the Vegapunks, and maybe the Vegapunks come up with, you know, oh, this is a good idea for you, or like this is that, and like different ways that they could power up the Straw Hats. I want to see Usopp get powered up. I want to see Robin get powered up. I want to see Chopper get powered up. I want to see Frankie and Nami all powered up. Not obviously they can't get to the level of like Sanji and like Zoro and stuff like that, but still. You know, keep the Zoro fight in the back pocket. I want to see Zoro and this Mihawk have like an all-out duel at some point, but not in this way, not in like a team up. And yeah, maybe leave the ending of the last chapter to some Bonnie stuff. That's what I'd love to see. Let me know what you guys see. Leave a like in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. You already know what it is. So get Kami out.